My family booked hotel rooms for everyone except me as a joke. Then the hotel manager walked up, called me by name, and asked if I wanted my usual ownership suite. And my sister's laughter died when she realized she just paid full price to stay at a hotel I partially own. My name is Marcus Harrison. I'm 29 years old, and this is the story of how my family spent years treating me like the broke underachiever, how they excluded me from a reunion weekend to mock my budget lifestyle, and how the punchline of their joke became the moment they discovered I owned 15% of the boutique hotel they were bragging about staying in. I need to start in September 2024, Austin, Texas. I worked as a hospitality consultant, made $72,000 a year, traveled a lot, helped hotels improve operations, guest experience, revenue. My family lived in Nashville. Parents, Robert and Linda Harrison, both retired teachers. My older sister Jessica was 33, marketing executive, made around $140,000, married to Brad, 2 kids, Emma and Luke. Jessica had always been the golden child, successful, polished, did everything right. I was the afterthought, the one who never lived up to his potential. In early October, Jessica had created a group chat, Harrison Family Reunion 2024. The message? Planning a weekend getaway, Charleston, South Carolina, October 19th to 21st. I found the perfect hotel, the Palmetto Inn, historic boutique hotel downtown, booking rooms for everyone. Over the next few days, she'd confirmed rooms, 6 total. Mom and Dad, Jessica, Brad and the kids, Uncle Mike and Aunt Carol, Aunt Sarah and Uncle Tom, Cousin Jake, Grandma Helen. I'd noticed I wasn't on the list. I'd texted the group, "What about my room?" Jessica had replied immediately, "Oops, hotel's fully booked now. You'll have to find your own place. Maybe there's a Motel 6 nearby?" The group chat had exploded with laughing emojis. Uncle Mike, "Marcus can sleep in the lobby." Cousin Jake, "Budget traveler Marcus strikes again." Brad, "I hear there's a great hostel across town. $20 a night." My mom had chimed in. "It's just a joke, Marcus. You're resourceful. You'll figure it out." No one had defended me. No one had said, "Let's find him a room." Just jokes. At my expense. Like always. I'd booked a Holiday Inn 20 minutes outside downtown Charleston. $180 a night. The Palmetto Inn was $320. I couldn't afford boutique hotels anyway. Not that they knew that. October 19th arrived. I'd driven from Austin to Charleston, 12-hour drive. Checked into my Holiday Inn. Basic room, clean, fine. That evening, the family group chat had lit up with photos. Pool at the Palmetto Inn, rooftop bar, historic lobby with chandeliers. Everyone tagging the hotel location. Not a single photo included me, because I wasn't there. Jessica had posted, "Best hotel ever, worth every penny, #family reunion, #Charleston, #Palmetto Inn." I'd been invited to dinner, 7 p.m. at the hotel restaurant. I'd driven over, pulled up to the Palmetto Inn around 6:45 p.m. Beautiful building, 1920s architecture, renovated, elegant. Valet parking. I'd walked into the lobby. Marble floors, original woodwork, vintage furniture mixed with modern touches. My family had been gathered near the bar, drinks in hand, laughing. Jessica had seen me first. "Marcus, you made it! Did you find a roach motel nearby?" More laughter. I'd smiled, stayed calm. "Actually, I'm at a Holiday Inn. It's fine." Brad had grinned. "Holiday Inn, classic Marcus, always going budget." Uncle Mike had added, "We're living large at the Palmetto. You're missing out, buddy." "I'm sure I am," I'd replied evenly. We'd started walking toward the restaurant, family chatting, ignoring me mostly. Then I'd heard my name. "Mr. Harrison, good evening." I'd turned. The hotel manager, James Peterson, was walking toward me. 55. Professional. Warm smile. James, hi, I'd said. I didn't realize you'd be joining us this weekend. Should I have your usual table prepared? Or are you dining with guests? James had asked. My family had stopped, turned around, staring. Jessica had frowned. Wait, you know Marcus? James had looked confused. Of course. Mr. Harrison has been one of our most valued consultants for the past 3 years. Consultant? My dad had repeated. Yes, Mr. Harrison helped us redesign our entire guest experience program. The training protocols, the loyalty system, the operational efficiency metrics, all his work, James had explained proudly. I'd tried to deflect. James, we're just here for a family dinner, not a business meeting. But Jessica wasn't letting it go. You've been consulting for this hotel? For 3 years? Among others, I'd said simply. James, oblivious to the tension, had continued. We're implementing the final phase of Mr. Harrison's recommendations next quarter. The ownership group has been thrilled with the results. Revenue up 40% since 2021. Brad had laughed nervously. Ownership group? Who owns this place? James had gestured vaguely. It's a private equity partnership. Several investors. But Mr. Harrison can tell you more. He's been in all the ownership meetings. The lobby had gone silent. My mom had looked at me. Marcus, what is he talking about? I'd sighed, knew I couldn't avoid it now. I'm a partner. I own 15% of this hotel. Jessica's face had gone white. You own this hotel? Part of it. I invested in 2022 when they were restructuring ownership, I'd confirmed. How much did you invest? My dad had asked. $120,000, I'd stated. Where did you get $120,000? My mom had demanded. I saved it. I've been consulting since 2019. Built a client base, lived below my means, invested in 3 hotel partnerships. This one has been the most profitable, I'd explained. James had smiled, still not reading the room. Mr. Harrison's stake is quite valuable now. With the property appreciation, I'd estimate his share is worth around $340,000. Uncle Mike had choked on his drink. Jessica had stared at me. You're telling me you own part of this hotel? The hotel we're all staying at? Yes, I'd confirmed. And you didn't tell us? She'd accused. You didn't ask. You were too busy making jokes about me staying at a Motel 6, I'd replied calmly. Brad had shifted uncomfortably. Marcus, we were just kidding around. Were you? I'd interrupted. Because it felt pretty real when you forgot to book my room. When you told everyone I'd be at a roach motel? When you laughed about me being budget Marcus? James had finally sensed the tension. I apologize if I've overstepped. I'll leave you to your dinner. Thank you, James, I'd said. He'd left. My family had stood in stunned silence. Then I'd delivered the final blow. Jessica, when you booked those 6 rooms, you paid full rate. $320 a night. 3 nights. That's $960 per room. 6 rooms total. $5,760 for the weekend, I'd stated. So? Jessica had asked defensively. If you'd asked me, I could have given you the ownership family rate. $180 a night. You would have saved $840 per room. Over $5,000 total for the group, I'd explained. Jessica's mouth had fallen open. But since you thought it was funny to exclude me and make me the punchline? I didn't offer, I'd finished. My sister had just paid full price to stay at a hotel I partially owned, while mocking me for being cheap. The irony was perfect. Dinner had been painfully awkward. My family had tried to recover, asked questions about my work, my investments, my success. I'd answered, politely, but without warmth. I consult for hotels across the Southeast. I own stakes in 3 properties: the Palmetto Inn, a bed and breakfast in Savannah, a small resort in Asheville. I make about $35,000 a year in dividend income. Combined with my salary, I'm doing fine, I'd shared. Why didn't you tell us? My mom had asked. Because every time I mentioned my work, you dismissed it. Hospitality consulting. You called it a fancy term for event planning. You told people I worked in hotels like I was a desk clerk. You never asked for details. You just assumed I was failing, I'd explained. We didn't mean, my dad had started. You meant every word. You meant it when you forgot my room. You meant it when you called me Budget Marcus. You meant it when you made me the joke of this reunion. You just didn't expect me to actually be successful. Or for that success to be connected to the place you're staying, I'd stated. Uncle Mike had apologized. Genuinely. Marcus, I'm sorry. That was wrong of us. I appreciate that, I'd said. Jessica had been quiet the rest of dinner. Embarrassed. Humiliated. The rest of the weekend, the dynamic had shifted. Hotel staff had treated me like VIP, because I was one. Complimentary upgrades mentioned casually. Mr. Harrison, we've prepared the corner suite for your next visit. The chef had come out to ask my opinion on new menu items. Mr. Harrison, we value your feedback. Valet had remembered my car. We'll have your vehicle ready, Mr. Harrison. My family had watched all of it, seeing me in a completely different light. On Sunday, as we'd checked out, Jessica had pulled me aside. Marcus, I'm sorry. I really am. We treated you terribly, she'd said. Yes, you did, I'd agreed. Can we move past this? She'd asked. Eventually, but not today. I need space. I need to not be the family joke anymore. If you want a relationship with me, it starts with respect, not assumptions, I'd stated. I'd driven back to Austin, alone. Over the next months, I'd limited contact, skipped Thanksgiving, spent Christmas with friends. In April 2025, the Palmetto Inn had sold to a larger hotel group. My 15% stake had cashed out, $380,000. I'd used it to invest in 2 more properties, posted about it on social media. Professional announcement. Jessica had texted, "Wow, congrats." I'd replied, "Thanks." That was it. Our relationship had permanently changed. I'd stopped trying to prove myself to them, started building for myself instead. Here's what I learned. People who mock you for being budget often don't realize you're being strategic. While they spend to impress, you build to own. My family saw my frugality as failure. I saw it as investment capital. I also learned that assumptions reveal more about the person making them than the person they're about. My family assumed I was struggling because I didn't show wealth the way they expected. They never asked, just judged. Most importantly, the joke dies the moment they realize the thing they mocked you for is exactly what bought the thing they're renting. My family paid $320 a night to stay somewhere I owned. They laughed at Budget Marcus. Budget Marcus laughed all the way to the bank. Some people measure success by what you spend. Others measure it by what you own. Choose your metrics carefully, because the person you're mocking for saving might be saving to buy the very thing you're bragging about renting. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and tell me which country you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss these powerful stories about quiet wealth, loud assumptions, and understanding that the family member you exclude for being cheap might just own the place you're overpaying to stay at. New story every single day that will make you think, feel, and connect. See you in the next one. Take care.